Hello everyone and welcome to the One Stop Co-op Shop. This is Colin and today we're going to start our playthrough of Fireteam 0, doing the Follow the Moon mission set starting with Act 1. If you'd like to see how to set up the game, feel free to check out the video before this in the playlist. Otherwise, let's jump in. Now before we start looking at the different phases, I do want to show you the different items that you can see on the board. There's different terrain types, as well as I want to show you the spawn points. Each game you're going to randomly set up your spawn points based on these icons right here. They will show you where you place your spawn points. There's usually 3 per board, and you just take all 12 spawn points and randomly place them out on the board. They really don't matter because you're going to be randomly rolling a d12 to respawn enemies. So that's important to note. When you do your search action, you'll flip them over to denote that you've searched that location. And remember, that's one of our goals, is to search all the locations. Right here we have most of the different type of terrain. I do have green terrain up at the top right corner, which I'll show you when we get there. But over here, what's important to note is these purple locations, they provide you cover. If you're getting attacked at a range greater than 0, so by 1 or 2 or whatever, you will have, you negate one of the hits if you're in this location, and that also is for the enemies. Now, the enemies that we're playing against right now are range 0, so you're not really going to see use of that, at least for now. Terrain that has nothing on them, no additional movement costs. So remember, we always get 2 speed, so 2 movement points. So moving into this space would cost 1 movement. Moving into a location with this yellow here is considered difficult terrain, so it costs 2 movement points to move into that location. There are 3 phases in the game: the tactics phase, the hero phase, and the threat phase. For this first round, we're going to skip most of everything in the tactics phase. Determining the start player, you move that, but we're not going to do that. That's going to be our leader, Moxie. Then we have play a tactical response. One player can play a tactical response card. We have to skip that in the first round. And then we drop to our hand size. Well, I already did that in the last video. Then we have our hero phase. We can do this in clockwise order. Each player can do a move followed by performing 1 action. Your actions are: you can attack a monster, you can search a spawn point, or any action that may be provided on an objective or a focus card itself. Don't forget that if Patrick is within range 1, though, you get a free search action, which is great. Finally, we have the threat phase. First step we do is we advance the threat token 1 space on the threat track. If we hit one of those spots where we have to reveal a twist card, we do that at that point. Then we activate any of the monsters on the board. You always begin with minions and end with a boss. We don't have bosses in this scenario, so you don't have to worry about that. Monsters will move their speed towards the nearest hero. Then we roll the green die, and we determine if they get an extra movement or if they do some sort of other ability. Then we'll resolve the monster's attack. Finally then, if there's any monsters that are off the board, we will spawn those monsters, but we do skip this if a boss is in play. Looking at the lower half of the board, you can see that we had hardly any enemy spawn, or we didn't have any enemy spawn on this tile. So I think our goal is going to be to run this way. Because remember, defeating the enemies, although it's helpful, it really doesn't do anything for us, right? They're just going to spawn right back on us. So I think what I'm going to do with Moxie is I'm going to go ahead and have her use her first movement. And something else I want to make sure you guys know is movement can be split. I can do 1 movement, do an action, and then do my second movement. So she's right now in cover, but she is 1 space away from Patty. She could have brought Patty along with her, but I want to leave Patty here because my plan is for our combat specialist to be able to get into this location and search this search token. So I want Maxie to come into here and do a free search action. So we'll flip this over and let's look at our first recon card. Now don't ask me why they actually have gear on the back of the card. I don't think you should really know that it's gear, but I guess it is. So we'll flip this top card and we have the black iron key. You can feel the heat coming off the key through your pocket. It's a feverish, uncomfortable feeling. You discover by accident that holding the key out as if inserting it into a door causes a shadowy frame to appear, beckoning you to step through. As an action, you may discard this item to move your hero as well as any other heroes or specialists in your location to any location on the battlefield. Whoa! That can actually help us. So it's a one-time ability that we can use. So she'll hold on to that and can use it during her turn. But remember, that takes an action. But yeah, we could teleport to the side of the board. That's cool. She's completed her first move. I think I'm going to have her move over here just because we want to keep pushing. That means that next round she can use her 2 movement to get into this difficult terrain spot. If you look at all the cards she has in hand, none of them have a range greater than 1, and there are no enemies within range 1 of us, so nothing that we can do with our cards. We'll just have them for our health, because there is a chance that 2 enemies will get into our location. Now, there is one more item I want to talk about with range. Whenever you have range, you don't have to have a line of sight in this game. Think of line of sight just as areas. So range 1 would be here, range 2 for Moxie would be here, but you can't go through the solid lines. So we can't go 1, 2 and say that they're 2 spaces away. No, think of this as non-existent area. It's rock. We can't shoot through here. We can only shoot through the dotted lines. So range 2, these enemies are range 3 away. Sunny here is next, and I'm hoping to be able to blow up these two guys and get them out of the way so our combat specialist can search here. So I'm going to go ahead and activate him first, and let's play some cards. Here are 5 cards. Now, all of these are range 0, but we do have 2 bomb cards, so let's look at those. They are a grenade toss, so we get to roll 1 die, but I'm actually going to discard both cards, so that lets us roll 2 dice at a range of 1, so we're going to throw them at that spot next to us, hoping that if we can get 2 bomb symbols, we defeat those bone fetches. Because remember, the bone fetches have 1 resistance to bomb, and they have 1 health. So I need 2 bomb symbols to be able to defeat them. But this means I'm going to have less health if I get attacked, so I'm going to discard these 2 cards. We get to roll 2 dice. Here's our 2 dice, and don't forget, Henry is in our location, so we get to re-roll 1 if need be. So we'll roll, oh, look at that, 1, 2, 3. So we have a total of 3 bomb symbols. That means we did a total of 3 damage. And remember, that does area damage. So it destroys both of them. However, because of their ability, they reassemble right away. So I'm going to roll, I actually have 2 of these D12s. I'm going to roll both of them and they respawn. So they're going to respawn in locations 9 and 3. 9 and 3 were here and here. So the 3 stinks because they potentially could get in range of Moxie. The 9 though, that's great. They're going to be too far away. After blowing those 2 to smithereens, I think I'm just going to go ahead and move 1 space here. I don't want to move into here where I could potentially get hit. Because remember, we can't defend anyone because they throw bombs as their damage. So we're just going to stay 1 away. We're now going to move to 2 pennies activation, but Rat is going to go ahead and play a reaction card. He has navigation. It's an ally within range 2, so he's definitely within range 2. He's in the same space. Play when an ally is moving to allow them to move 1 additional space, ignoring difficult terrain. So we're going to discard this card, and that's going to allow our marksman to be able to move 3 spaces, and they don't have to worry about terrain. 2 pennies going to be able to move 3 locations. He's going to go ahead and take Henry with him. He's going to go 1, 2, and remember, he can ignore difficult terrain. Boom, 3. He's going to move into here. He's going to spend his action to flip this over to search. And I need to remember, I had Moxie do a search here. She should have discarded a card. So I'm going to show you what card she discarded to search here. And our marksman's going to have to discard a card to search here. Moxie will go ahead and discard this center mass. That's what she used to do her search. Now, you don't normally have to do that. That's because of our specific objective card that we have to do that. 2 pennies going to go ahead and discard this cover fire or bayonet. He'll discard that to do his search. It's another gear. Maybe it'll be good. Let's see. We have Bad Penny. No, that doesn't sound good. Seems like the lucky piece you found really works. You're dropping monsters faster than ever, so why does it seem like there are just as many now as when you started? The attack strength of all your attacks are increased by 1, but any minions or elites you kill immediately respawn at a random spawn point. As an action, you may discard this item. You know what? That item does absolutely nothing in this scenario because they respawn anyways. And so what's nice is his attack strength is just increased by 1. So honestly, that actually helps him. Normally, remember, enemies don't respawn until the end of that threat phase. But these guys, they respawn anyways, so this didn't do anything. Take that, you bad penny. Well, I had this whole plan about using my combat specialist specific focus ability to be able to move 4, but I forgot. He cannot bring a specialist with him, and I left him with him. So that's not going to happen. He's just going to have to spend 2 actions, or 2 movement, I should say, to move into here, but then he can do a free search, so we'll have to discard a card to do this search. But then that way, when we get back to this exit, we don't have to come all the way over here to get this. We'll discard point blank for this search. We'll flip this card, and we have an unwanted gift, and that sounds great as well. You find a small box tied shut with brightly colored ribbons. It's warm and feels heavy for its size. As soon as you unite the ribbon, the lid bursts open and a geyser of blood erupts, drenching you. Advance the threat track 1 space. Yeah, okay, that's terrible. Thanks for the blood. Now, this scenario does not have a timer, but some do, and usually that timer is when the threat track reaches 13, essentially, because there's 13 spots. So yeah, that's definitely not a good event card, and that means in 2 rounds now, this twist is going to come out. We'll go ahead and end the hero phase. We're going to move to the threat phase, and the first thing to do is move up the threat track 1 space. Now we activate all of the minions that are on the board. unlike us, difficult terrain does not stop the minions. What they're going to do is we can activate them in any order we want. They're going to find the closest hero, and then if there's a tied closest hero, they're going to move towards the one that's earliest in the initiative or starting order, and they're going to move their movement up to if they get into the location of the hero. We then will roll this green terrible die, and the die will either tell us if they get an additional movement, if they get nothing, or if they activate their special ability, which for them, their special ability is they just deal one unblockable damage to everyone in their location. So let's go ahead and start activating our minions. We'll start by activating the easy guys over here. So let's roll. Okay, the first guy gets 3 movement. 1, 2, 3. So we have to remember that they already went. Second one also gets 3 movement, so he's going to move here. This guy, it's actually faster to go this way. He will get an additional 3 movement, or an additional 1 movement, so he'll move to here. We'll then do the 2 guys in the back here. And yeah, they each get, one gets 3 movements, and 1 away from Moxie. The other one, just its special ability, so it'll only move 2. Now the fun part. We had 3 enemies in here to start with, so we're going to do those, and those can get into Moxie's location. It's just Moxie that's there. Okay, we'll roll for the first one. Nothing. Awesome. So we'll just move 2. The next one we'll roll. Okay, and 3. 1, 2, 3, and that one's going to attack Moxie. So I need to pause. I need to remember that I have 1 more here because we need to resolve that attack. Don't forget, though, we have our Overwatch ability. Once per round, you may perform an attack action against a monster as a reaction when it moves into your location. Why the heck not? We're likely to have to lose a card anyways, so let's go ahead and use our stock strike. Oh, you know what? I don't want to use that one because they have 2 defense on that. I'm going to use the center mass card. The center mass card is 3 bullets. They only have 1 resistance to bullets, so I just need 2 successes, and I'll kill that guy before he hits me. I am adjacent to Henry, which is great, so he will help me to reroll if I need. Yep, and I'm going to need to because I only have 1 bullet. Come on. There it is. That's 3. So that'll take him out. Now, it's not during the hero phase, so I won't spawn him back immediately. We'll spawn him during the regular spawning step. So there were 2 more minions that were out that could potentially move into her spot. No, only 1 because we activated 1. So there's 1 more. Oh, awesome. It's only going to move 2 spaces and do its special ability, so it will not get to Moxie. We'll go ahead and move the Bonefitch. 1, 2, right here. But yeah, looks menacingly at Moxie, but can't get to her. Oh, that was great. Now we're going to spawn this 1 remaining enemy because we've activated all the minions on the board. We'll roll our die, and we have a 2. 2 is great. That was way up here, so he's far away from where we are now. So that's the end of our first round. We're doing okay. I really don't like that my combat specialist is so separate from the team. I'm going to hopefully get him closer this round, start moving towards the 11 and the 5 spawn points over here. Yeah, and I'm hoping to maybe blow these guys up. 3 in 1 location is perfect for our demolitions, man. To start our round 2, the first thing we do is we move the first player token over to Don, or Sunny. So Sunny is our first player this round. Now, before we draw any cards, we can decide if any one of our players who has tactical cards. We've got 2 that Frank has, we've got 1 that Rat has, and 1 that Moxie has. I think I'm going to play Moxie's because it lets us help out our combat specialist who's kind of out there on her own, or on his own. We're going to play this regroup card. Each hero may immediately move 2 spaces starting with the player to your left. So I believe that'll be Sunny, then Twopenny, then Rat, and then herself. So we'll discard this card to do that. This does mean, though, when we draw up to our hand size, she will not draw any cards, and she only has 2 cards in hand. So we need to make sure that we protect Moxie. Sunny can move first, but I'm actually going to have him hold. You're going to see the reason why in a second. Next would be our Twopenny. Twopenny's just going to move 1 space. He can't move into this location because he needs 2 movement to move into this difficult terrain. Moxie's going to go ahead and move 2 spaces into this difficult terrain. And then over here, we have our combat specialist, Rat, being able to move 2 spaces, and he'll be able to bring with him Patty. This means that now Donnie, when he goes, he can bring along Patty with him, and hopefully then we can do our action of using 4 movement and get our combat specialist out in front of us. Now that we've played a tactics card, we all get to draw up to our hand size except for Moxie, so that's 5 cards. Everyone is set to go. Let's go ahead and start off with Sunny. The first thing we'll do with Sunny is play our satchel charge here. That is actually worth 5 dice, and I think we're going to add this one over here. I think that's our grenade toss. Yes, for a total of 6 dice that we get to roll at a range of 2. Remember, normally it's 1, but we have a pitching arm, and that increases our range by 1. So we can hit that location that has the 3 bone fetches and try and blow them up. And we're rolling 6 dice for it. Let's do it. Here we are hiding in a little bit of cover, and we chuck our grenade into this spot. We should really be able to blow them up here with 6 dice. We don't get a reroll, hence the reason why I wanted to use more dice. And, oh yeah, just right there, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All 3 of them are toast. Now, because this is in the hero phase, we do have to respawn. So I've got 2 d12s. I'm going to go ahead and roll them. I've got a 9 and a 2. Now, something I haven't talked about, but I'm going to explain right now, is that if ever there is a hero that's on a spawn point, they're guarding that spawn point, so enemies cannot come out in that spot, so we just re-roll. 9 and 2 work, though, so we'll spawn those 2, so we've got a 9 and a 2, and we've got another 9. Here we have the 9 spawn and the 2 spawn over here. And you can see the 2 spawn is actually green. That's the elevated terrain. And elevated terrain, your attack strength is increased by 1 die if targeting a non-elevated terrain. And I think I did not explain the cover well. It reduces the amount of dice. So the strength of the attack is reduced by 1 die if you're in cover. It doesn't negate one of the successes. It negates one of the dice that you're rolling. Rat over here is all about movement. So what he's going to do is he's going to play this reaction called navigation. Play when an ally is moving to allow them to move an additional space, ignoring difficult terrain. I love that. So that lets Don, or Sunny, move 1, 2, 3, all the way over here. And it means our team is moving along, which is exactly what we need to do. We do not want to dally. Twopenny is next. We'll go ahead and have him move 1 spot right here. That took 2 movement because this is difficult terrain. He's then going to go ahead and attack with one of his cards against this enemy right here. Twopenny's going to go ahead and use his tactical headshot here. He's going to roll 6 dice. Don't forget he's a sniper, so his range is 2 instead of 1. So he'll roll 6 dice trying to get bullets to take out, and he'll need 2 total bullets to take out that bone fetch. He brought Henry along as well, so he'll get a reroll. Just looking for 2 successes. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, he did it. So that will take out this bone fetch, but then that will respawn in location 7. Our combat specialist is sitting on that location 7, so that's not going to work. We'll reroll. It's a 10. 10 is actually behind our group right over here, so that's okay. For our combat specialist's turn, he's going to use his ability that's called double time, and he's going to move a total of 4 speed. So he's going to 1, 2, 3, 4 into here. Finally, we're just going to have Moxie take a step. She can only move 1 because this is difficult terrain, so she can't move into there, but we've moved out of the way. Okay, now let's go ahead and activate our minions on the board. Before we activate those minions, we do have to remember to move our threat track, and we're going to have our first twist. So we have Decay, and you can see here it says Fetch, so we know this is for our minion type, or enemy type. Any hero that ends his turn with a minion in his location must discard 1 card selected randomly. Ugh. We'll start with these 2 bone fetches. So this one will go 2, and we'll roll. Okay, don't forget, that just means that anyone that's in their location now would take 1 unblockable damage. Can't do that, there's nobody there. Our second one also rolled that, so he's just going to move 2. We'll do this bone fetch next. He'll move 2, we'll roll, nothing, awesome. This guy will move 2 and roll, nothing. This guy will move 2 and roll. Oh, you can't see that, that's an additional movement. So he'll move into here. This guy moves 2, and he gets an additional movement. This guy moves 2, nothing. And that final guy will move 2 and do nothing. Great. Nobody's within range, so no one gets attacked. Other than the fact we didn't search any of the spawn points, I feel good about that turn. Look at, none of the enemies hit us. We've got guys within range 2 here. Maybe our demolitions expert can throw something at him. I think he's got 1 more bomb. I know, I think we actually used it. Bummer. So I don't know if we'll be able to even hit them, but I think our goal this round will be to move up to here. Someone's going to have to spend some time getting up to that one, and then have the other people start coming here and blocking these enemies that are coming in. We've got a check here, which is also in difficult terrain. Yeah, so it's going to be at least 2 turns on this tile before we can start moving up. Starting that tactics phase, I only have 2 characters, Twopenny and Rat, that have tactics cards in their hand. I think I'm going to do Rat's, and you'll see in a second why. He's going to use his tactics card for the tactical response. Move 2 spaces ignoring difficult terrain. Kill all minions and elites in your starting location and each location entered. Search and destroy. I love it. Now it doesn't say I can't bring Patty with me, and I think I'm going to. I could move this way and kill all 3 of these minions, but remember, that's not the goal. The goal of the game is to search those spawn points. So I'm actually going to go 1, 2. I don't kill any minions, but I'm over here 1 away from this location where I can do a search. Oh, I almost forgot, you guys. I need to move first player over to Twopenny. So Twopenny is now the first player. Now everyone else will drop to 5. Rat will not. We've all drawn up and we're ready to go. We'll start with Twopenny. I'd love to have Two Penny attack some minions, but I don't think it's worth it. Instead, all I'm going to have him do is move one space into here. This is then going to allow Rat to do his action to move, have his speed increased to 4, and he'll get a free search over here. So that's all that we're going to do for Two Penny. Our combat specialist will move in here for 2. He's then going to use his action to increase his speed by 4, so he'll be able to move out. Patty is now here with Two Penny, so we're able to do a free search action in the middle, and let's draw our next recon card. And we get, let's see, we get the Harbinger Flock. A foul wind blows over you, carrying with it the stench of decay. Ha, that's their ability, is decay. The sound of wings rises to deafening roars, and the light dims as hundreds of small shadows pass over you. It's perfect for catacombs. When the light returns, you find yourself surrounded by dead crows. Ugh. If the lucky coin is face up, flip it face down? Oh, that's brutal, you guys. That means if anybody is knocked down, we lose the game. You're not going to lie, that is not a fun event at all. We'll flip that. We still have 2 movement left. I'm going to go ahead and move into this spot, but I only have 1 movement. I can't move into this difficult terrain. Wow, you guys, that stunk. Okay, we're going to have Moxie go next. Moxie's going to spend 2 movement to move here, and then what we're going to do is have Don play a reaction card. We have here Medic, which says, play at the end of an ally's turn. You move to their location and they draw 1 card. So we're going to move to Moxie's location. We have to do it for Moxie because she's the one within range 1. But that means we don't have to spend 2 movement to move into that difficult terrain. And she gets to draw a card. We'll grab another leader card, and we have a Knuckle Duster. Cool. We'll then go ahead and move Sunny into Moxie's location. Thank you for that assist. We now can do our activation, but here's the thing. After playing that card, now I'm not sure I really want to move up because I've got those 2 enemies. Well, you know what? I think I'm going to. I'm going to have him move up 2 locations. It does mean he's within range of these 2 enemies, but now we don't have people within range of the 3 enemies on the other board. You can actually see them right here, where Moxie potentially could get attacked by 3 enemies. That's the whole reason why I wanted to have her get the additional card draw. It does mean, though, that he's a little bit out of formation, but it means he can search here next round while we all kind of start gathering in behind him. So I'm not going to play any cards because I want to keep my cards for the damage that I'm undoubtedly going to take. No one ended their turn in a location with an enemy, so that's good at least. We didn't have any decay issues. We're going to move ourselves up 1 on the threat track. Let's now activate some enemies. We'll start with this Bone Fetch. He'll move in, we'll roll. Okay, no additional effects, so he's going to attack our Demolitions Man with 1 die. Let's see what we get. We'll roll 3 bombs, you guys. That means he has to discard 3 cards. We're going to discard all 3 of these, and then we're going to have to do something for this last enemy. I think we're going to go ahead and play Surprise Detonation. This states we can play before a minion activates to prevent all minions in that location from activating. I should have done that before, and I didn't, but that's okay. So now I'm playing that, and that means that that 1 enemy that's within range 1 of us will not be able to attack. It won't even activate. That would be this one right here. I really should have done that with both of them there, and then I wouldn't have to discard my hand. But I'm actually okay discarding my hand because I want more of my demolition cards, and those were all melee combat cards. So that's okay, other than the fact that I don't have any cards left in my hand. Let's do the ones that can potentially reach us first. So I'm going to have this guy move 2, and we'll roll. Yeah, he's going to get into where Moxie is. He will then roll to attack Moxie. Doesn't hit. Okay, doesn't have any of the bomb dice. This guy's going to go. We roll the green die. Oh, man. He gets additional movement. He's going to move in where Moxie is. He will attack Moxie. Okay, we've got 1 bomb symbol. We're going to go ahead and discard our pump action card for that. It's not the end of the world. And then we'll have this one move to... And where is our green die? Oh, I have it here. We'll roll. Oh, gets an additional movement. Holy moly. She's got 3 enemies on her. We'll roll for the attack. That is a miss. Thank goodness. Then we'll have this guy move. Let's see what he does. Nothing. This guy moves 2. He gets an additional movement. 1. And that guy will move. He gets just 2. He will not move the 3rd because his special ability is to deal 1 damage to everyone in this location. Holy moly, Moxie is totally covered with enemies. Well, that was a fun round. We have Moxie with 3 enemies on top of her. We've got 1 on Sunny over here, 2 enemies right on her tail, 1 just off the board here and 1 just off the board. But I do have a plan. Hopefully it'll work. I think it will. I think it'll be pretty good. So let's go to that next round and let's blow up some enemies. So I know you guys, I should have done this before, but I'm going to do a retcon here, and you can kill me later. But with playing 4 characters on camera, sometimes you make mistakes. I was going to have 2 Penny because he did not do an action. He just moved. I wanted him to get rid of this bad Penny because of what you're going to see he's going to do. Because as an action, I can discard this item, and that's what I wanted to do last round because I do not want to have enemies respawn when I play my tactical response called the Wrath of God. Now, before that, we do need to move this over to Rat, so Rat's our first player, but we want to play this tactical response. Inflict a total of 12 damage to any combination of monsters in your sector ignoring resistance. They each only have 1 health, you guys, ignoring resistance. I can kill up to 12 of them. Now, there's only 8 in total. There are 6 on our sector. Sector is considered 1 tile, so we're just going to blow up all the ones on our tile. We basically just shot them all. That's awesome. And because we're doing this during the tactics phase, they don't immediately respawn. They will respawn at the end of the round, so we don't have to deal with them this round. Out of the 8 enemies on the board, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 were all on our tile, our sector, gone. Thank you. That means we'll all, except for 2 Penny, drop to our hand size. And then we'll go ahead and start off with Rat. I love Rat's special ability. We're going to go ahead and use it. We're going to spend an action to go ahead and be able to move 4. 1, 2, because this is still rough terrain, or difficult terrain. 3, 4. And then we do have 1 ranged attack. I realized I was going to attack with Rat, but he used his action to do the movement of 4. So many times I get that free search action, I forget that he doesn't get 2 actions. He only gets 1. So then it's just going to be Moxie. Moxie's going to move here, and she is going to try and blow up that bone fetch. We're going to go ahead and use our 2 grenade tosses. They're both within range 1. We'll roll 2 dice. We're trying to get 2 bomb symbols. Henry is not by us. We only get to roll 2 dice. Beautiful. 5. He's gone. Well, he's only kind of gone. We will spawn him in location 4. He is way up here, which is great. We won't have to deal with him for a while. We eventually will because we have to get to these spawn points, but not for now. And finally, our marksman will bring the 2 specialists along over to here. That's his 2 movement because that still is difficult terrain. We'll now move to the threat phase, almost ready for another twist card. There are only 2 minions on the board, so I'm going to roll for this one. Awesome. 1, 2. He does not get in range of our marksman, otherwise he'd attack him. Nothing. Number 4 way up there, we'll roll nothing as well. I believe he would go, well, 1, 2. I don't think it really matters. Finally, we'll spawn the 6 enemies that we took off the board during the tactics phase. Well, we filled up the 9 spot. I rolled that every time. We've got 1 in 5 now, 1 in 12, and yeah, that should be it. This round, I definitely want to be able to search these 2 spots. That means I think we're over halfway through the game at that point. Well, I've got a long-term plan I'm really excited to show you guys. First thing, though, we're going to move to our tactics phase for the next round. We only have 1 tactics card. Sonny has it. We're going to play it. Looks like Sonny has put some mines out, and we have our tactical response. Kill up to 4 minions and elites anywhere on the board. Anywhere. That's an amazing card. We'll take out this bone fetch, this one, and this one. And remember, this is during the tactics phase, not the hero phase, so I don't believe they will spawn back until the end of the round, because their reassemble ability is only about being destroyed during the hero phase. Let's talk long-term quick. What my goal is to get both of these searched this round. Then, next round, I'm going to try and get my combat specialist all the way up to the 2 spawn over there and be able to search it. And then be able to meet up with Moxie. And Moxie uses her black iron key to teleport all the way over here. That way they can work on this spawn point and then get to this spawn point, while the other 2 can get to the 1 spawn point and then come down, meet here, and we all come up to finish our last spawn point, spawn 6 here, and escape. Now, is that actually going to happen? No, but it's fun to actually get kind of a full strategy out there. And then, of course, with a game like this, you have to make those tactical decisions where, oh my gosh, there's 8 enemies over there. We can't do that. So that's what the goal is. I keep forgetting to move the first player token over to the next player. So Moxie will be our first player. Everyone will draw up to 5 except for Donnie. Here are our cards for this round. Let's go ahead and start with Moxie. Killing all those enemies during the tactics phase is so incredibly helpful, because what we're going to do is we're going to move for 1 here, and then we'll go ahead and just do our search. We will have to discard a card. We'll discard our Knuckle Duster to do this search action. We'll flip this card. Let's see what we get. Oh, we get the Doctor's Coat. You guys, this is one of our discovery cards. The only way to tell these remains were once human is by the shredded clothes. Every bone in the poor soul's body was torn out through the skin. Ooh. A doctor's coat is nearby, burning with spectral flame. You take a closer look, and the flame leaps onto you, spreading rapidly over your body. Yet you feel no pain. Keep this card. You now inflict 1 unblockable damage on any hero whose location you enter. Place an intel token on the objective. Okay, so, and the objective it states here, the infiltrate the catacombs, we'll place 1 token on there, and now anytime she enters a location with another hero, she deals them 1 damage. And I'm realizing I didn't read this to you guys. For some silly reason, I was thinking I should read it when I completed it. No, that's not the case. We should read it before we complete it so we know what this objective is. So we have already found the entrance to the catacombs, and what we're doing is we're exploring it. Obviously, that's why there's these long paths and it's really dark, right? So we found the entrance to the catacombs. Seems quiet enough, but we can see flickering red lights down the tunnels. Whatever's down there took out an entrenched German platoon. And they're going to find out taking us on is a whole different ballgame. And that's right. So far, we've done a pretty good job of mitigating them. If we can get that second objective token here, we get to flip our lucky coin. Because remember, we had it flipped to the tail side because of one of the events. We'll now move to Sunny's turn. Sunny's going to take both of his move points to move here. He's going to discard this concussive device to go ahead and search this location. We'll go ahead and flip this card, and we get rearm. This rare moment of calm gives you the chance to check over your equipment and shift some things around in your pack. Experience guides your hands, and in seconds you're ready to charge back into combat. Discard any number of cards of a single attack type, then draw the same number of new cards. Oh, cool! Here's the thing, though. I love my hand. Look at all of those bombs. And we have a range 2 with those bombs, so I'm not going to discard any of them. I mean, I had the option, but no chance. I could throw potentially 5 bombs within a range 2 thanks to our pitching arm focus ability right here. Next to go is our marksman. He's going to go ahead and bring our specialist with, because we have to, move here just with our combat specialist. And that's all he's going to do. Our combat specialist is going to go, and he's going to use his ability yet again, that's why I love it, to be able to do a speed of 4. He will move 1, 2, 3, because this is difficult terrain, 4, right into here. Now we can't search this because I use that as an action, but I can go ahead and search that the first thing next round. No hero ended their turn with one of the fetches in their location, but we are going to have to reveal our next twist card, and we have Malevolent Smoke. Any monster in a location with at least 2 other monsters is considered to be in covered terrain. Oh, so that means that we roll 1 less die when attacking them. That's really interesting. So there has to be 2 monsters in the same location. We'll go ahead and move to activating our enemies. We'll start with our first one, no additional move. Our second one just does their special ability, which nobody's in that location. Oh my gosh. Well, they're all staying together now that they know that they can get cover. Okay, here's one that gets an additional movement. Then I'm going to go ahead and spawn the 4 that are off the board. Well, already our plan is getting messed up. We have an enemy in location 1. We got 3 guys here, so now because there are 3 here, they're considered in cover. And so if we attack them at range, what that means is that we have to roll 1 less die. We did spawn one all the way over here, I don't know if you see that, so that was great. And yet another 9 showed up. The goal for this round is definitely to have our combat specialist do a search action, and then hopefully he and Moxie can meet up. And maybe, I don't know, get rid of some of these enemies over here. It's going to be brutal. That coin being on the flip side is such a bummer because it really, it puts a lot of pressure on us. Let's see what we can do.